age of 56. So this is going against the general wisdom and dogma of conventional medicine to say you have to lower your LDL to really low levels to manage your heart disease risk, when if you're what we call a lean mass hyperresponder, meaning that if you have a low carb ketogenic diet and you're very lean, your cholesterol is going to go up. Is that going to put you at a greater heart disease risk? And I think we will have this data very soon. So
that'll be some very interesting.
That'll be very interesting data, because this will turn the whole ethos of why we are talking about LDL cholesterol all the time. And we should be talking about glucose, insulin, inflammation, fatty acid oxidation. These are the drivers of heart disease. And so...
And then if we explore a ketogenic diet, will certainly regulate or minimize the amount of insulin that is required for the system to put nutrition into the cells, for example.
Yeah.
And then if we also go back to another point that you just brought up, omega-6 tends to be pro-inflammatory.
That's right.
So getting that more ideal ratio of omega-3, omega-6.
Yeah.
Just on a side note of omega-6, is the omega-6 that I get from, let's say, highly likely those vegetable oils that I get have been oxidized?
Correct, yes.
Sunflower, safflower, cottonseed oil, rapeseed oil, those canola oil, there's a high likelihood that they're already oxidized. So the omega-6 that I get there, I can see that could create cellular damage, and I don't want to get that into my temple very often. But then I go, well, what about these nuts and seeds?
Yeah.
Can I put that type of omega-6 on the same chopping block, so to speak, as the omega-6 from the rancid oil?
No, they're separate. Yeah.
I think it's very important to delineate those, because I don't want to, there's a certain amount of nuts that you should have for your size. I'm not saying we gorge on nuts, but sometimes when I hear the common rhetoric behind omega-6, I just don't think we delineate the difference between the high likelihood of an already oxidized rancid oil coming from those vegetable oils that I mentioned.
So that's why you need a balance of omega-6 coming from nuts and seeds, because the oils inside the nut and seed are stable. They're not heated. They're stable oils, and as long as they're not sugar coated or roasted or anything, that's fine. So I think it's these like the nuts you find, hazelnuts, pistachio nuts, pecan nuts. These are sort of the better nut, macadamia nuts. I'm not so much of a fan of the peanut, because peanuts can be potentially inflammatory, and it's the linoleic acid, which is the acid you don't want too much of.
And that comes in, it's higher in peanuts.
That's higher in peanuts, and it's higher also in walnuts. So I just think it's the balance between that omega-3 ratio, omega-6, omega-3 ratio is an important balance just to optimize.
Yeah.